welcome to Advice for Prince. Today's guest is part of gospel music royalty. He is a bass player, a singer, a producer, a writer. It's no other than David Winans II. Mr. Winans.
Yes, Prince, how are you? I'm good, man. It's a pleasure to be on your show. Advice.
So, it's an honor to have you.
Cool.
So, I know everybody knows your whole family. If they don't, I don't know where they've been.
Well, they might have been in the house. They might have been on the pandemic lockdown.
Speaking of that, like how have you been?
Oh well, I've been obeying. I've been sheltered, and I'm trying to do my part and stay masked. Even my girl, we still wear a mask around. See, keep one of these things with you, and adhering and happy that everything's starting to open up again. Because we've been out of work for over a year now, and it was somewhat trying, but I had hip surgery, so it helped me kind of stay put without moving around so I could heal. Just to come back and make everything happen in 2021.
Well, okay, so the Winans.
Yes, sir.
And your three brothers were a group.
Yes. Well, actually, the myself and the next three brothers, which included Ronald, Marvin, and Carvin, we were a quartet called the Winans. The Winans, and that kind of morphed into a group called the Testimonial Singers. And then around the time of the Testimonial Singers, I left home. I got out of school. Mumford. Yay, Mumford. I got out of Mumford and I went to London to pursue my music career aside from the brothers. Because I played guitar and sang with them. I sang with them in the Winans, but I was mostly the guitar player for the Testimonial Singers. Marvin had developed a style of writing, and we did a lot of local shows here. Ed Smith had a gospel show here. We were on that a couple of times. And then I went out to Los Angeles to, I had a rock band on the side. So I went out to Los Angeles to pursue my career in rock guitaring. And I took my brothers, our albums, the Winans, the Testimonial stuff out to Los Angeles with me to shop it. And nobody wanted it. They turned it all down, and unbeknownst to me, Andre Crouch came through Detroit and saw them, and he got them signed to Light Records. But I saw those people that next year after I had gone out and they had turned down the Winans materials. I saw them at the Grammys that year, and they were like, I said, I told you guys. And the rest is history on that one.
That's hilarious. Like, hey, I got a
Yeah, right, I know. For sure. You should have called.
So, because the family is so well known, did you ever feel pressure to do something?
Pressure? No, I don't think I felt any pressure. I know everybody started to pronounce my name correctly. There was a whole lot of different mispronunciations of Winans. It'd be Winans, Wininski, Winans, and all sorts of stuff. But they learned how to pronounce the name correctly. You had the boys under me, and then on BB and CC took over the southern part because they went to PTL and worked down there with Tammy Faye and Jim Baker. And then in between, you had Daniel had a project. So we always had different bands, different groups within the family. And, you know, borrow two from one group and put it in one, and then borrow one from another, and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
both Mooney Connecticut.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Interchangeable pieces sometimes. Like farmers, like Transformers.
That's great. So like going on that, you like you said, you want to pursue your own career, your own kind of style. So how did that come about?
Here in Detroit, before I left to go to Los Angeles, I had a group over we were basically out of Detroit, but we rehearsed in Grosse Pointe. My drummer and stuff, we had a group called Damone Wisp. Myself, a friend of mine, Livingston Taylor, and Gregory Freeman was in and out of that. Gregory Freeman was part of the Winans. They helped on the Winans projects too, or the Testimonial Singers projects. And I took my group from here to Los Angeles. A young lady by the name of Christy Love, who went to Cooley, I was friends with, I stayed in touch with, and I ran into her in Los Angeles. And she introduced me to some gentlemen there that were interested in the music I was doing. So I brought the group from Grosse Pointe out to Los Angeles, and our very first show, these gentlemen had us play at Arizona State University in Tempe, and we opened up for Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Very. Yeah, for sure. It was a rock concert festival outdoors. It was very hot in Arizona, and it became very cold. By that evening, everybody had bonfires. So
you have your own band.
Yes, my band became known as Xaria, Xairia. It was Damone Wisp, and then those guys left. It morphed into another group called Xaria. X as in Christmas, Airia as in the opera, aria as in an aria, operatic solo. And so I combined those two words together, the letter X and aria, and made it Xaria, which meant Christ through music. And we were on more of a progressive rock band. So we were in the Christian rock category at that time, along with Stryper. When I went out to Los Angeles, the other bands around my band at that time was, like I said, Stryper, Motley Crue, Van Halen.
Well, you kind of were like ahead of your time with the whole Christian side rock.
Yep.
Feedback
in time. It was like even though we could stand our ground, it was like they didn't take serious, because I was a black guitarist, a rock guitarist, and they always held up flags or held honors up for Jimi Hendrix, like he was the only black guitar player. And I'm like, dude, in Detroit, every brother I know in Detroit that played guitar could kill it. We all knew how to play Zeppelin, Frank Zappa, and stuff like that. It seemed very foreign to people out there for some reason. And it kind of hurt us because we couldn't get those shows that other people got. I mean, at one point in time, the group Berlin, who had a hit record out of that, what was the name of their record? They were in that, their song was in the movie Top Gun. And they opened up for us at the Troubadour. But it was very interesting. And also out of this batch of people, the Go-Go's, we used to have a rehearsal studio, which was very new to me too, because here in Detroit, we all rehearsed in our basements or in the garage, right? And in LA, you didn't have basements or garages, they had rehearsal studios. And they were usually like apartments or homes turned into rehearsal studios, put up the soundproofing, whatever. But there was one unique old building in LA off of Melrose called, it was just called Western. It was on Western Melrose. And in this building, my band rehearsed. Shalimar was there with Howard Hewitt. The Go-Go's, I remember Belinda Carlisle came in and auditioned for the Go-Go's. She wasn't even in the band at that time. There was a group called Madam X, and a plethora of the new wave scene started around that time too. So so we were like chasing record deals, trying to get a deal with Geffen and Atlantic Records, stuff like that, but it never happened. Never got the deal.
You were into rock way back in the 70s, which even still now, I know a lot of gospel singers, they can't like branch out without being like, oh, you're selling out, or you're going.
Oh yeah.
Blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Yeah. I know, like even some of your siblings got like feedback because they were
because they came out. Yeah, they did get feedback. I forgot the churches did. Yeah, it was kind of very new what style of music that was coming out of the gospel scene. Well, the Clark sisters did the same thing too, but it was a change, and the fact that the Winans also, they had that song out, "Time to Make a Change," that had Teddy Riley and Guy on it. So that was the new Jack sound coming out, and that came out through some of their music, and the church was totally against that. But that's what happens. I mean, even after I had my band in Los Angeles, finally some breakthroughs came through for black rock people. Prince came out, and then you had Living Colour, who a lot of people thought was my band at one point in time. I went, wow, I wish it was. But no. So, and there were a bunch of other, there was a gentleman named Tim Reed, guitar player too.
I had no idea about that. Okay.
Yeah. So, it was a very interesting time.
I bet, the 70s were.
Yes. And then it became the 80s.
Very, very interesting.
Yes.
So you are the oldest sibling.
I am the eldest, correct.
So, here's my question to you.
Okay, what is it?
Are you like the big protective brother of
my siblings?
Yes.
Yeah, I was. They're on their own kind of now. But I tried to warn them what was happening out there when they finally got there. And I was blessed to work on, they still used me whenever they came out to Los Angeles on some albums. When they went to Quest Records, I worked on Let My People Go. And before that, I was on I think it was their maiden voyage, introducing the Winans when they were on Light Records. And whenever we toured, I had to come back here to Detroit to be on the tour, even though they had to come to LA. But hey, that stuff happens. And then they called me when they worked on Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. So that was a pleasure too.
Wait. So you played on that record?
No, I did not play. I went to the studio. I did not play on that. I was trying to play on that record because I had the conversation with Quincy, because Michael had done Beat It, which was on the Thriller album, right? And I asked Quincy, how did he get Eddie on that album? And because I knew Michael would go out to the local clubs in LA and look at all the talent. So I was trying to get in on that trip on the Bad album. And I said to Q, who's playing guitar on this? And he said, well, I'm using a guy named Stevie Stevens. And I said, oh my God, I couldn't get that. Because Stevie Stevens was guitarist for Billy Idol. Yeah, so.
Did you ever get to meet Michael?
Yes. Oh, I met Michael, yes. Michael was great. Michael was a great guy. God rest his soul. Yeah, and I was trying to get on that 50th tour, that last tour too. But it never happened.
Because I was doing research on you. I saw
Okay.
Not bad, not bad. Okay, I know.
All right. I hope not.
No, but I saw that you had IMDb credit for
Oh, yes.
film.
Right. I got that credit. There was a young lady that was a Detroit icon that worked here. Her name was Sister Otis. Sister Otis. She was a mentor for a young lady named Crystal Boxworth. Boxworth? I think she was on American Idol. And Sister Otis was her mentor. Anyway, I had met Sister Otis, and I played with her on a couple of live shows here. And I went out to Los Angeles with her also. But she called me because there was a young man that went to Country Day High School here, Jude Sawicki. And he was doing a documentary on John Brown on the Underground Railroad and how it came through Detroit. And the documentary is called Man or Martyr. And I was asked to do some music for it. So I did a version of Wade in the Water and another song, old gospel song for that documentary. And it made it to Sundance. So that was a nice little thing to put on the resume.
Very, very impressive.
No, thank you.
I'm just curious because I'm just a big fan of the whole family. How many awards do you have? I'm just curious.
I myself have no Grammys. Let me tell you that right off.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm on a quest. I'm going to. But I have 11 Detroit Music Awards with my band Pi, the band I have now.
Very, very interesting.
Yes, I have a band called Pi, which is, Pi, the number 3.14. Yeah, that's how many people is in the band. No, so, but it could become a whole bunch more. So at least whenever you get me, you're gonna get 3.14 or more people.
Okay, I like that. I like that. You cut it up. Okay,
right there you go.
I see what you did. So, what's next for you?
Well, I've been working on this one album for it seems forever. The last one it's called Songs, and I'm just about finished with it, but it needs to be marketed and completed. So I'm there, and now I'm working on something else now. I'm trying to stay relevant. Now, this year off of not playing out has hurt everybody. So I couldn't, stymie me for a while. But I'm looking forward. It's going to be coming up soon. Some new stuff. Yeah. And hopefully this band, finish this album and get us out playing. Hopefully do a little tour in Midwest and Europe and Detroit and get back into the scheme of things when everything opens up.
Well, I cannot wait to see it.
Yes, I can't wait to have you at a show and have Harold at the show.
I'll be there and I'll bring Dad.
Yeah, make sure you bring him.
Of course. This is like the last question I ask all my guests, and you are my last guest for this season because who better else than Winans?
Plus, let's say you end up with a W.
Exactly. But what are 4 things that everyone should know?
4 things?
Yes, 4 things and it means music, life, whatever you want. 4 things that everyone.
Well, number 1 is everybody needs to stop the hate and start loving on each other.
Yeah.
Number 2, get vaccinated.
Yes.
Number 3, make love, not war. And number 4, let's get Detroit back on the map.
There you go. You heard it here. How can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook. I do a good morning every day to everyone and use whatever adjective I can come up at that time. So you can find me at David Winans davidwinanspie.com, and you can find me at Launch Showcase. I do this thing called Launch Showcase where we look at talent twice a year in Chicago, and it's a very good organization. And I'll be doing some work with Mr. Kern Brantley, and look for me in the papers and advertisements for live shows coming up as soon as we can open back up. Oh, I also just released something with, I didn't release it. I did a song with Mark Varner from Grand Funk Railroad. It's called The Prisoner.
Oh, no. So go get that project.
You could get it probably at all the platforms that's out there. Apple Music, CD Baby, Spotify, Amazon. That's right. I forgot Amazon for sure.
Taylor and David Winans. And it's pop up.
David Winans Pie. P-I.
Pie. Like the number. Pie.
Like the number.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next season.
Everyone has a path they must choose. For Kai, it's true love or the life she's always known. Lies, deceit, money, and murder. Against the Grain by Kimberly Kiss. Would you go against the grain? Passion, romance, sex, sin, pain, and death. Love unexpected. When you think you know your partner, think again.